everybody should read all the books that I recommend because I like them and that's how the world works. Like, I do care. I would read your grocery list. I'm just like everyone else. I love him. I'm sorry.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I usually don't interrupt my videos this early on, but as you can tell by the lack of an intro, this whole video is a little bit of a mess. I filmed it after a very long travel day, and I'm honestly impressed that it got filmed at all. So instead of scrapping the whole thing, I'm choosing to preface the fact that it's a little bit of a disaster. So hopefully y'all can look past that and enjoy me talking about books for 20 minutes straight.
76 books last year. I'm kind of annoyed that I read one more because why didn't I just stop at 75? 76 is like, I mean, no shade to 76. I'm sure there's some value to it, but I feel like 75 is a better number. And that was my goal too. Like, why didn't I stop? Anyways, I was going to do my top 25 books of 2025, but then I was like, that's 33% of what I read in the entire year. I'm a book enjoyer. Like, find it really hard to criticize books. Like, I'm just like there for vibes and I enjoy pretty much anything I read. So I felt like that was too much. So I settled on 10. There are some that I love more than others, and you'll be able to tell, I feel like, with how I'm explaining them and how much I talk about them. If you don't like these books, that's okay. And if I don't like the books y'all like, I don't really know how I would know, but like, that's okay. It's just books that I liked. I scrolled through my Goodreads 2025 Wrapped and picked books that I was like, hey, that brought me a lot of joy this year. And that's okay because not every book needs to be a lyrical cinematic masterpiece. Like, I'm just here for vibes. Okay, so I think pretty much anyone who knows me and my taste in books is gonna see this coming, but this is one of my first reads of the year. I actually don't remember what my rating is for this one, but I loved it because I love the series, and I feel like once you're obsessed with the series, it's hard to look at a book and be like, oh, I don't really care. Like, I do care. I would read your grocery list. Sorry. Onyx Storm is the third book in the Empyrean series by Rebecca Yarros. I feel like everyone and their mom has heard about Fourth Wing. I don't really know how you haven't, if you haven't. This is the third book, like I said, so I don't want to spoil what happens because I feel like that takes away the fun of the entire series. But I will give you a little preview of Fourth Wing, which is the first book. The series follows Violet Sorrengail, who is the daughter of one of the generals of the army of Navarre. She has been training her entire life to become a scribe, which is kind of like a historian. They keep records of things that are happening in the world. I said is a general. So she's like, no girl, you're going into the Writers' Quadrant, which is the deadliest quadrant of the 4 at Bisgayth War College. Like, people are literally dying on their first day. And it's a little bit of a jarring start to the book, but you've been warned. She also has a condition that kind of makes her body a little weaker compared to others naturally. So throughout the book, we kind of see her journey in the Writers' Quadrant, overcoming that struggle, as well as kind of the feuds, because obviously everybody wants to make it and not everybody can. So there's a lot of conflict going on between her, some of the people who don't like her mom and want to see her fail, and just generally the challenges that are in the Writers' Quadrant. I don't really know what it is that drew me to this series, but I mean, it's dragons and fighting. I feel like this is a given. Also, there are this group of people called the Marked Ones, who are the children of the rebellion. One of the Marked Ones is the son of the leader of the rebellion. That is none other than Xaden Ryerson. I'm just like everyone else. I love him. I'm sorry. I'm not even sorry. Anyways, I just needed to say who he is. I'm not going to say anything else. This book was a lot less intense than both Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, the second book, in my opinion. I really loved seeing the little group of characters go about their little mission. I will say I did predict quite a few things that happened in this book. Like, if you're committed to the Empyrean fandom and you've been reading the books as they get released, you know how we theorize, and I think that a lot of people had accurate theories for this book, and I think that's why some people didn't love it as much. But to me, it was just like a fun little, like, I was happy, but also it makes me think of like the calm before the storm. So I'm really terrified for book 4, and I feel like I'm valid in that fear. The next book I have on my list is one I actually just reread in 2026. Considering I read this, I think in summer of 2025, a reread like 6 months later, I feel like is a telltale sign that I absolutely love this book and this series. This is another thing that I'm insufferable. Oh my gosh, English. Insufferable about. And I will go on and on about these characters, this series, this book for literal hours. Rewind It Back by Liz Tomforty is the fifth and final book in the Windy City series. This book might be my favorite. It's probably tied with like Caught Up, but I really love this book. Rio is the friend in all the other books who's like the token single comedic relief character, and seeing him get his own book was such a perfect way to wrap up the series. Every family dinner scene either has me giggling or sobbing, and there's no in between. This book, as I said, follows Rio and Hallie, who grew up together. They've known each other since they were young. They kind of had a falling out, and then in present day, Hallie is an interior designer and Rio is obviously a professional athlete. He's a hockey player. His neighbor had her house redone by Hallie, and Rio was like, oh my gosh, I love how your house looks. I want to do the same thing. Well, I want to hire the same person. Lo and behold, it's his ex-freaking girlfriend. I love the tropes in this book. Childhood friends to lovers, forced proximity, second chance, found family. Like, I literally adore this book with my whole heart. Two of my best friends are more like dark romance girls. They're not sports romance inclined as me. And I made them read the Windy City series, and I've only heard good things. So that has to be a sign. Everybody should read all the books that I recommend because I like them, and that's how the world works. This book is easily a 5-star read for me though, and I literally adore this whole series. Okay, this next one comes with a little bit of a story time. I was reading this book series collection on the bus on the way to summer camp. If you know anything about scout camp, you know that you're kind of in the middle of nowhere doing nothing. Our troop doesn't allow phones, so there's that. And I was reading the Mind series by St. Abbey. This series is actually so like unique to me. I feel like I don't tend to gravitate towards dark romance because I feel like women are so often portrayed as weak and submissive, and Lana Myers is nothing at all like that. I will say this book has a lot of trigger warnings. Like, please, 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 please check the trigger warnings before reading this book. Your mental health is important, but everything she did was just so, I don't want to say I support murder, but I do support women's rights as well as women's wrongs. Lana is a serial killer, and she's getting revenge for something that was done many years ago, and honestly, she's valid. But she ends up meeting this FBI agent, and lo and behold, she goes on a date, and lo and behold, he's working her case. That's all I will say about this, because I think one of the big joys about mystery is going into it knowing like nothing, and then as things are revealed, you're like, what? Like, this series lives up to its name. It really is a mind. I will also say I love FBI agent books. Like, Spencer Reid is my husband, and that set me up to be who I am today. I really, really love these books, and the plot is just so interesting. Like, it was nothing what I was expecting, and I just think Lana is an icon. I love a complicated female main character because, like, come on now. I really, 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 really love this book series. Okay, next is kind of like a 2-for-1 situation. I want to talk about Slapshot and Hat Trick by Chelsea Curto. I love both of these books for separate reasons, but they kind of go together. Well, they do go together. They're from the same series. So I wanted to put them together. Slapshot follows Hudson and Madeline. Madeline is a Michelin star chef, but she's out of work. So she contacts somebody she knows, shout out Piper Mitchell, and gets a job working for Hudson as his private chef. But she's a single mom, so she's literally a single mom who works 2 jobs. They're so cute and wholesome in my opinion, and I just love them for being them. Like, this is another thing where I would look at these characters' to-do lists and read it. What I really loved about this book is that Maddie's daughter is deaf, and Hudson is just so sweet with her. Like, it's the little things, I swear, like, that's the bare minimum. I just love disability awareness in books and seeing how other characters interact with those people. Like, I just find it so, like, aw, I love them, you know? I also do love the found family in this book series. The team has such like a good chemistry, and I don't know if that's how pro sports are in real life, but like it's just so sweet. And I just like, this is one of those things, like I was saying, I just loved it. Like, I'm just enjoying reading about them, and I just have joy and happiness in my heart. Hat Trick, on the other hand, is definitely a more heavy book, especially for a sports romance. This is another one where I recommend reading trigger warnings because this has the potential to be upsetting. Riley is one of the players on the DC Stars team, but early on in this book, he gets in a car accident and loses his leg, which for a professional athlete is literally career ending and life changing for anybody. He is in this really bad space mentally because he's been working so hard for his career, and now everything is just gone. So in this book, him and one of the athletic trainers and medical staff on the team, Lexi, work together to kind of rehabilitate and see if they can do something with the situation. It's just something I've never read, which I feel like is a common theme in Chelsea Curto's books, for me at least. Like with Face Off, A Woman in the NHL. Like, I've never read anything like that, and same thing with this book, and I really enjoyed it. Next is a little bit of a classic. I feel like everybody who was into reading as a kid read one of these series, whether it's Harry Potter, Maze Runner, Hunger Games, Percy Jackson, Divergent. Like, you have to have read one of them, and I read all of them. But we're going to talk about the Hunger Games, specifically Sunrise on the Reaping. This is a prequel to the Hunger Games. It follows Haymitch and his games. This book, oh my gosh, anybody who says that this is kind of a money grab and they just wanted to throw in random characters, like, oh my gosh, so and so mentioned, like, I could see where you could get that idea, but I so strongly disagree. This book was so good. I literally cried so many times, as I do with any Hunger Games book, and I just really loved seeing Haymitch because he's this alcoholic, kind of absent figure in the Hunger Games, and we're like, why, what is this, what's happening? And then you see him in Sunrise on the Reaping, and you're like, oh, it's so crazy to see. And I also obviously loved the little shout outs of other characters like Wyrus and Beatty and Mags and just random people. I also loved seeing just how District 12 was when Haymitch was young, and how he was with Lenora Dove and his friends, which he was friends with Katniss's dad. That really threw me for a spin. The Hunger Games is another one of those things that is really intense, and I don't want to spoil anything because then what's the fun in reading the book? But we actually know what's going to happen at the end of the games because it's a prequel. I really enjoyed this book. I feel like I'm starting to lose juice, but we still have so many books to talk about. I have been reading this series for a long, long time, and I finished it in 2025. A long time meaning like a year, but I have been reading this series for a while, and I did not like it at first, which is a hot take. The last book happens to be my favorite and one of my top reads from last year, and that is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J Maas. Let's talk about it. Again, I can't really say much because you have to have read the series, but this book follows Nesta and Cassian. Nesta is the sister of Feyre, who the other books follow, and she has been through it. A lot of people say that she's acting dramatic for what she's been through, and I can kind of see where people would be like, oh, she's just throwing a temper tantrum. She, in this book, is kind of punished for going a little crazy after the events of previous books, and she's forced to work in the library and train, and she's kind of stuck in this castle. So throughout that time, she grows so much, and I really loved reading about her grow as a character. I think this is another one of those situations where a complicated female main character is always going to piss people off, and I love her. Like, I see what people are saying, but also I will defend her forever. I also love Cassian. I don't know if he's my favorite bad boy. I love Reese, but I love Azriel too. I want Azriel's book so bad. Also, controversial topic. What are y'all's thoughts on who Azriel should end up with? I'm not gonna disclose. I have no thoughts, but I want to know what y'all think. This is another hot take. I've been seeing a lot of hate on this series and this author, both of which I love. Fearless by Lauren Roberts is the last book in the Powerless trilogy. Listen, okay? A lot of people are saying that this book is too similar to other things that they have read. And I kind of see where there are like some themes and I'm like, oh, this reminds me of that. And like, that's okay. I just like this book. Again, I hate that I can't really talk about these books because they're at the end of a fantasy or romantasy series. And that's kind of a situation where you can't discuss what it's about because it spoils everything. But Powerless follows Peyton and Kai. Kai is a prince of Ilia, and Peyton is an ordinary. So in their world, you're either elite or you're a mundane. The ordinaries are diseased, allegedly, and exiled. But Peyton survived, and she is living her life pretending to be a psychic. She comes across Prince Kai, and he gets his attention. And that, of course, goes so well for our girl because she ends up in the purging trials. And Kai, again, I'm just like everyone else. I love him. He's such a poetic idiot, if you know. And I just love how he loves Peyton, despite all the nonsense that goes on and continues to go on. This series is so good. This book reminds me a lot of Red Queen, but it's still different in my opinion. So if you liked that series, I definitely recommend. I just love a good romantic series. I feel like there's a lot of things that I will just feel like, yep, immediately yes. And this book had a lot of that. Next is another series, but I'm gonna count it as one because it's one book on Kindle Unlimited. I love Alexandra Moody. I am really excited for her last Darling Devils book. Waybridge Academy is a rich kid school. Our main character, Isabel, does not come from a lot of money, but she finds out that her dad, who is not present in her life, is like a multi-bajillionaire. So he's like, you should go to this school. This series is so drama. Like, there's just so much that's happening and you're just like, how did we get here? And I just really enjoyed it. I love who she ends up with. I'm not gonna say because you kind of don't know for a little bit, but at the end, he's so committed to her. Like, he literally runs into a burning building for her and literally takes a bullet for her. No exaggerate, literally. But yeah, this series is a lot of fun. Like, it kind of felt like reality TV, and I really liked that. I had a great time reading it, and it's just so, like, you're kind of sucked into it. I was pretty late to jump on this train because I feel like everybody has read this book, and everybody read this book many years ago. I read The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood this year, last year, and I loved it. Listen, I don't like science. Well, it's not that I don't like it. It's not my calling. I'm not like, go science. This is a professor student, but he's not her professor. He's just a professor. Olive is trying to convince her friend that she's not hung up on this guy because she wants her friend to go for said guy. So she randomly kisses this random man in the science lab, and her friend is like, oh my gosh, who's that? Lo and behold, it's Adam Carlson. This book is just like, so I don't know how to explain like contemporary romance books that I enjoy other than saying like it's so fun. Like, I'm just having a good time. This has been a long video, filming wise at least. It's like 50 minutes long. I hope y'all liked hearing about some of my favorites. that is it for my top books of last year. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.